Hello and welcome to Vandeanson's Apocalypse, another dev stream tonight, third version. Third time I have no clue what I'm doing, so let's just see where we go with this. And let's have some fun. Today we're going to mainly look into setting up a crafting system and finalizing the scavenging system, and then trying to link both systems into each other as good as possible. Here we have the latest feature, the crafting script. It's currently not included in the mod, but just here as a test version. So let's test it from scratch. I did bad. Why did I do bad? Format text materials. Why is this wrong? Screw you. This is not wrong. You're wrong. What the hell? Why is this wrong? There's no way this is wrong. Missing materials. Oh. I need an exit script where if I do not... Right, so crafting script, this is how it works. You can freely add your recipes. You just add a certain line of information, sort of an array with information, splint name, recipe action name, like the crafting action, the resulting item, the required materials and how many items you need per material, if there's tool required, and then some more stuff. This will be any close by objects that are needed. For example, if you need a crafting station, and if it must be in water, it will be used for some recipes, I guess, and the casting time or the crafting time. And you'll basically be able to, as a mission maker, to just add these recipes if you can think of something, and if you either have materials from the VA mod or you use exile items or whatever, you can use them to have them in your inventory, double click them and open a crafting menu. Right, so we applied that code. This is a small collection of VA materials and tools. In this case, we're trying to craft a wooden splint to heal leg wounds. Basically, when you get hit into the leg, you start limping, and a splint can heal that. So let's say we have firewood, we have a burlap sack with burlap, we have a rope. Let's try and craft a splint with a burlap sack and some firewood. We double click it, right, and it works. So this will basically allow me now to craft a burlap sack. It will also tell me that another recipe, crafting bandages with burlap and alcohol, was not possible because of missing materials. So basically every item we look at, if it has a material, if it's a recipe of a material, if you double click it, it will activate all the recipes that are used with it. And if other additional materials are missing, the recipe is closed. Also, when you have an active recipe open and you open the inventory, the recipes will close because obviously you could, put stuff away and glitch the system. So let's see if that works. Right, it works. Alright, we cannot apply the splint because our leg damage isn't there. So let's see if the other materials work. The other recipes work as well. Let's try to craft a splint with a rope. We still have firewood. Craft a splint using rope. So you can use different materials to craft sometimes same stuff. Don't mind the top left emotes, that's just for debugging, for me to understand where stuff is. Checking something. Right, so let's play around with it. I'm actually surprised that already works. We don't have alcohol yet. Craft burlap sack. We need to add an alcohol item. We can do that. So in the game you will find you can scavenge burlaps, you can scavenge burlap sacks. If you scavenge a burlap sack, you can double click it and you can rip it into burlaps. Did it work? Did it work? Did it work? I have no idea. How many burlap sacks did I have before? How many burlaps? Oh, I think it worked. Let's try again. Sweet. And then from burlaps, again, if you missing materials, I only have burlap now. Did it? Yeah, it's still here. Wait, why were there two? Yo, dude, hi. How excited are you about the new crafting script? Just a side note, obviously there's no sound and animation yet. For sure we'll add sound and maybe some sort of animation. Let's add an X because I want to show how. So we have an X now, and you might have figured it out, but we have a burlap, but we do not have any firewood left, so we could well, let's get some firewood then. Right, that should be working. Why is this not working? Oh, maybe I don't have this tree. That music, it's the only music we use for coding, man. Right, quickly need to check if the trees... Oh, wow. Okay. Just need to quickly check if the trees are detectable. I have so far only manually gathered the trees, so that might be the problem. Okay. We're working on a new version for tree arrays, but so far we only have the manual one. Trees exactly here. So let's add a tree. Yeah, dude, exactly. So the dude and Yuki have suggested that we use a method called wildcards, where you just use shortcuts. Basically, you only look for objects that start with T underline, then asterisk and .p3d, and that should allow us to look at any tree, and as long as it's configured with the right, naming convention, it should detect all of them. But as a quick workaround, we just added this tree here to the trees. Yes, so this works. Oh yeah, that reminds me, the chopping sound doesn't stop in the right time. Yep, we're not chopping. Stop chopping. Don't. Silly tree. We currently don't have proper wooden log models, so we use the best alternative we have from ArmA assets. So I have a couple of firewood logs now. By the way, the recipe requires a knife. I click the main recipe, the burlap, and I can craft the splints. Or what I actually wanted to do, oh, I think the rope was deleted, so that's a bug, we don't want that. I had a rope, I believe. Player rope. That probably means that material items get deleted. We need to check that. So let's first try how it really works. So the rope, because we have firewood now. Bam. The rope should be gone. There's one less fire. Okay. One less burlap. The rope is gone with a makeshift splint. Perfect. So let's try this again and remove the firewood. So we should not have enough materials to craft, and therefore the material should not be despawned. But there should also be no recipe. Okay. Confused. Okay, we only have one rope. Rope missing, that's good. Okay. Sorry, I thought the rope was deleted before. That seems fine. And now so for example, the firewood is also used to create fires. So right now I'm thinking that per recipe there's always a main recipe, like a main material. So the first one in the material array. And there's a secondary one. Now in that case, firewood is part of the splint recipe. It's a secondary material, and it also has its use as a primary material for creating a fireplace. Right. And we can add wood. So, just by the way. I think in general I will create it this way. I change it a little bit that every item you click does not directly cause an action like the campfire placing, but it will cause a hold action. So items, to your question, to do it, how it handles same item for multiple recipes. Basically, we can try how it handles same item for multiple recipes. Wait, how it handles same item for multiple recipes. So you mean what happens if one recipe has multiple... Now, one item may trigger multiple recipes, right? There will be two hold actions. So in this case, the burlap could also be used to create bandages together with alcohol. Now, because we do not have alcohol, this is not working. But it will just pop both hold actions, and once you've completed one of the hold actions, or the whole thing gets interrupted, all are cleared again. So you can select. It's yeah. Anthony, hi. Haven't seen you in a while. I remember you've been commenting on my videos a while ago. If I'm right, sorry, if I'm mistaken. To be honest, just selection to disable. When is it possible to use your system but exclude the AI enemy spawns without having to blacklist every possible unit individually? Yes, it's possible, as yeah, pretty much as the dude says. You just tune down the AI spawn per site. Stalkers, bandits, whatever. Are you looking at AI spawn in bandit camps and hideouts? So one thing is AI stalkers and patrols. They will patrol or hunt you. You can turn that down. If you want to tune down the amount of AI that is guarding a site, then I believe you can just tune that down here. So we look at the settings, we go into add-on, we go to the server tab. That's important. Yeah, I think you're using the wrong settings. So if you go into VA, you have the general AI, which handles the stalkers and the patrol. You have AI skills, which is something completely different. There you can just adjust how smart AI is. Although I'm not 100% sure if it's really working. I would have to do some testing. And then you go to sites. No, you can't. Okay. Okay. You cannot adjust the number of AI at sites. I forgot about that. I can add an option for that in the new version, but in the old version you can't. Sorry. Sites. Yeah. It's a good point. I will add that option to reduce AI or disable AI in VA 3.0, but I won't change it for the Steam version because the VA 3.0 will be uploaded as a new Steam mod, so people can use both. So yeah, you can only turn off AI stalkers and AI patrol. Right, guys, I want to create a new item for alcohol because I want to add this recipe. Let's find a good model. We're mainly using in-game models, at least at the very start, to keep things simple. Is that booze? Yeah, let's use that as booze. What we do now is, in order to create more opportunities for recipes, I'm going to add some more custom VA items in this stream, so we can use these as materials. Magazine, crowbar. Let me see. If you have any of these, let me know. The dude already provided his share of good ideas of stuff we could add. So this is all the items that we've added on VA. It includes tools, materials, crafting materials, building materials, food, drinks, raw food, cooked food, all the things. It's all set up as magazine uniquely, so we can interact with it in a specific way. We can add a certain round. No idea how I want to. How would you say that? So basically, the cooked meat will have 15 charges to eat. The orange will have like 5 charges, which is equal to a bite, for example. So eating an orange will add 5 nutrition to your 100 nutrition pool. Rice has more, and so on. Okay, here's the booze, here's the drinks. We're having the bedroll. Very funny joke of my end. Let's make it vodka. Let's give it a name. Pictures. Amount. Well, it's not the amount actually. It's the liters or kilograms or grams or calories or so. You can set a mass, how heavy it should be. Let's compare it to a water bottle, maybe 50, a little smaller. And at some point we will add a custom picture, a transparent one, but for now we'll just use the in-game preview. Oh wait, no. Well, it doesn't matter for now. In the end, for both we will want a nice matching picture. You know, even if the model is not perfect, then at least the picture is nice. Oops. What did I do? Hi Sasa. I just nearly called you Sansa. Sorry. Hi, I have too many. I do have some problem with AI. Spawned up 4 is at 100% skill when I check them in Zeus, while Blue and Indep are okay. So when I meet them on open terrain, it's hard to counter them. Yeah, 100% skill is awful. What other mods do you use? Do you have this problem as well when you just use CBA and Vandeanson's Apocalypse? or do you mix a lot of other mods? Just for me to figure out where the problem could be. Also, just to mention, the AI skill system was something I tried, and it's not throughout tested, so it's very well possible that it's not working as intended. 1 and 2, I'm not sure how much work I will put into AI, as in creating own Ravage and VA. Okay, and which AI is it? Can you 100% be sure that it's VA AI, or could it be Ravage AI? What are your Ravage AI settings? Just to understand the scenario. Picture. And well, yeah, generally for me, I'm not sure how much time, even in this new version 3.0, how much time I will invest into AI, because it's a bloody pain in the ass. And we'll see what we do there. If we just have a simple spawner and let mods like AS, all those AI intelligence mods do the rest, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel there. And Dude, I'm just quickly pulling your suggestions. So Dude has sent me a lot of recipe suggestions to see if I should add, the grinder, if I should add more items when we're already on it. If we use the grinder, we'll need a power source. Okay, so we made a double check. We made vodka. Will be a good item to have, because we can use it to disinfect stuff, and I'm sure there will be multiple uses for it. Maybe even to drink it and cure some sicknesses or whatever, or just get drunk and have a party. I mean, cannot blame anyone for partying in an apocalypse, right? Yesterday, I probably already mentioned that last stream, but yesterday I'm not really drinking a lot, so yesterday I was really in the mood to open a bottle of wine, to chill and relax, and I ended up opening a bottle that looked really weird, and I realized it was a wine bottle from 2010 that my sister gifted me once. It was not a good thing. I should not have tried it. I was like, yeah, 10-year-old wine, that could be awesome, right? It's not, it's awful. It's like vinegar. And it's apparently because newer wineries or newer vineyards, they do not produce wine that's supposed to rest that long. Right, that was enough culture, so I'll immediately stop now. Let's do some coding. Grinder. Thank you. To the AI wander away from sites, it depends. There is one bug behavior where they sometimes just wander off into the nowhere, but usually they stick around. I played Ravage a lot and there was no issue with skill. Only recently when I set up, okay, I died almost. Okay, yeah, it's possible. It's not the best system for sure, my AI skill system, and to be honest, I think something with Ravage. Yeah. I'm getting the impression as well that the Ravage AI system and my old Steam version AI system might not be compatible, because a lot of people that use Ravage and VA have these issues. I think the skill settings don't globally set AI skills down. They will run away from you, turn instantly and headshots. Okay. Yeah, it's possible. I would recommend not to use the custom AI settings and just go with one of the established mods, like what are they called? ASR3 AI or something, and VCOM or something like that. AI is definitely a weak spot of my mod, so I would recommend try to use as much Ravage AI as possible, except on the sides obviously, and do not use my skill system, at least until I come up with something better. Grinder count. That one should be heavy. A grinder, not the app. Not sure if that joke makes any sense outside of Switzerland. Or is that a Swiss thing, the Grinder app for the dating app? Not sure. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the I'm creating new items, inventory items based off the magazine class, and I'm adding existing. I'm using existing models, existing pictures, and existing, well, mainly existing models to create those in-game inventory items. Yeah, plus again, I mean, there's so many mods attacking the AI behavior or overriding it. But yeah, you're welcome, Cesar. Good, it's not game breaking. I mean, if I've been working now on the revised version for quite a while, and I'm slowly starting to forget what I've done on the Steam version. The Steam version is the one currently uploaded on Steam, and to me, I must admit, the Steam version is a broken mod. I mean, it has so many issues. I'm happy it's still playable, so good to hear. But the goal obviously is that with version 3.0 of VA, that we will push out a better tested, better structured, better coded mod that will also bring a lot of the old features that you already see now in a better way, in a more optimized way, more polished way, and it will also bring new systems. For example, the whole, as we call it, the living system, which is the survival system, the whole loot economy, and so on, vehicle spawns, vehicle repair, blah blah blah. So glad that the old mod is still playable, but we're really looking forward to a replacement now. Anyway, and love your work. Nice, Anthony. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. Glad that you like it. Yes, as you mentioned, a lot of rough patches on the Steam version. But I think, the dude and I, we have taken a new approach on the VA 3.0 version, and we're testing a shit ton. I never was able to do that before when I did it alone and released the Steam version. So quality will be much better because the dude is pretty much ripping every feature apart and notices every bug or every way to abuse the system, so I can fix it afterwards. So a much more solid VA experience should be coming with the new version. And yeah, let me know about your ideas of crafting and makeshift things. I mean, that's the spot now where we're creating it on the fly now. I'm just adding some more items. Let me see if that works. You can post your IDs here. You can post it on Discord. I mean, if you're not yet on Discord, make sure you join it, because they are most active and there's a lot of cool people there. Wait, let me try to send you a link here. An invitation. So make sure to join if you like the mod, because, you know, stuff's going down there. And hi Dash. We're doing crafting and the scavenging. The scavenging is the system where you can walk up on objects in the map and loot that object. It's similar to what Ravage has, but I think it's more categorized. So, for example, if you walk up, I will showcase. Basically, if you walk up on a car wreck, you'll be able to loot gear that makes sense. Looting it from a broken down civilian wreck, like civilian loot, maybe civilian rifles. If you do the same with a military wreck, you'll have some chance to find military gear. If you loot through junk, you might find materials and scrap materials. If you go through luggage, you'll find clothes and gear and maybe food. If you search apple trees, you'll find apples and so on. Oh, you visited Chernobyl? Nice, man. That must have been an interesting experience. It really fascinates me. They a shot of vodka before they saying there's home. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I've heard. I don't know if it's scientifically proven that vodka helps to combat the radiation. But you know, at least psychologically, it's probably a cheap tool to calm people down once a reactor blows up. Right. So the mod is updated. The new items should be in. If anyone has a smart idea for a new item right now, let me know, and then I will start the game again with the new items, but also with generous redukes and all the mods that we want. So while testing stuff, we might have some gameplay, some cool one. Let me quickly go through the dude's list of. I can actually show you. Can I? No, I can't. Why can I not show you that? I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Russians, yeah. Yeah. But it makes sense, dude. It's so cheap, like as a official body dealing with that crisis, I would probably push that too. I mean, you know. Right, so let's see. These are the brainstorming from the dude with regards to recipes. Crowbar, grinder, hose. Oh, we need a hose. We got that, knife, axe, shovel, we got a shovel. Handsaw, we got a handsaw. We got an axe, burlap sack, shovel. Okay, screwdriver, we have that. Right. Food and drinks. Let's not focus on that yet. Oh, that's a nice idea here. Yeah. We could use vodka to run some sort of, I don't know what, generators. Sleeping bag. What should we add? I really want deployable tents. If anyone knows how to add, how to create tent items or tent objects with inventory space, let me know. I know EO has done something for Ravage, so I'll ask him. Or maybe let's not do it now, because now we have other stuff to do. A naturalist edition of bandage. Nice idea. Leaves and toilet paper. Nice. Cloth. We'll need to add something where we can rip up uniforms into burlap. Protein bars. Yeah, I mean, it would be a cool idea to add something that that has then an effect on our health. Right, what did I say? Didn't I just want to add something? Shit. The hose. I need to get a hose model. Right, let's start again. Let's get Ravage. Let's get oh, C. Yeah, C is up. Cap vehicles. Capturing core. Let's get bloody generous redux. Simplicity. We can also have cloth pieces. I mean, doesn't matter. I think I took the burlap. There's rubber hose. Yeah, I know. I'm going for that. I just closed the game already, so I'll grab the information and create a hose for afterwards. But yeah, I mean, the refueling and the filling of the fuel canister is important. We need that. Advanced urban rappelling. Yes, why not? Alright. Nah, let's not take that for now. Anthony, I will just show you, but with regards to searchable loot scavenging, I think we have a very cool feature coming. I prefer it over Ravage because you can really. I will show you. Let's start the game. So with regards to scavenging, yes, we bring that in 3.0. Did I? I don't know if I already did crunch this. Let's crunch. But with regards to, they're saying that like to get away from using Ravage, but I only really use it for the better zombies over zombies and demons. Yeah. Same. So I will not do anything with regards to zombies. Generally AI. So my setup will be that I will be using Ravage for the zombies and maybe the ambient AI, and that's it. All the other systems I want to do, or I've already done, or will do own stuff. That was a weird sentence, sorry. So yeah, I will show you the loot system in a second, because that will be the main topic here today. The crafting and the scavenging. The scavenging is tightly linked to the loot economy. The loot economy in VA is like a system where you your active mods and all its items, weapons, uniform, gear, let's call it items in a summary, categorized into civilian gear, military gear, medical gear, and police gear for now. There'll be more. And so you have categories based on your active mod. So just load whatever you want. You can also adjust it, these categories. So you can say, okay, I want to remove all the ArmA vanilla stuff. I only want cup stuff. Basically that any loot that spawns or any equipment that you have or AI has is only from cup. Or you could specifically blacklist certain items. So let's say you don't want a certain rifle to spawn, you can blacklist that very rifle and it will not spawn, even if a certain mod is active. Or you can just whitelist stuff. And whitelisting is where you basically say, right, I have cup, I want to exclude ArmA vanilla, but I do not want all the cup rifles. I just want a very very selected few. So you say, right, for civilian, I add a Mosin rifle, an M4, and a shotgun. And for military rifles, for example, you go and allow M4s, M16s, and so on, M9 pistols. And you can do that with every category, civilian, military, medical, police. And you can do that for every item type, rifle, pistol, uniform, backpack, and so on. So basically you can adjust your loot pool, and this loot pool is then applied throughout the game. Then the second part of the loot economy is the building categorization. Because buildings, loot will be spawned in buildings on the grounds, and depending what category the building is, if it's again civilian, military, medical, or police, the respective loot category will spawn there. And you can also adjust per loot type or loot category. Let's say military buildings, you can adjust how, while I'm talking I can show you. You can adjust in the rarity settings. You can, this is the civilian version. You can adjust how often what type of loot spawns in a civilian building type. So for example, just the random houses that you see here that have nothing to do with military or medical. You can just increase the chance that, for example, magazines spawn, that pistol spawns. So maybe for a civilian, you want to reduce the rifle spawn chance and increase the pistol spawn multiplier. You can increase the chance of magazines and so on. The same you can do for military buildings. Oh, medical buildings, sorry. So for example, medical buildings, I won't spawn any pistols or rifles, but I will spawn a lot of medical items and food and gear, right? Same for military, there will spawn a lot of rifles, weapons, explosives, uniforms, and the uniforms that spawn here will be military grade uniforms. Uniforms that spawn in the civilian part will be civilian. So these things will then spawn on the ground in the buildings. And the next part of will be scavenging, where you basically run around and interact with objects, and depending on what type of object it is, different stuff will spawn. I'll show now. Let me quickly set up the mission. Yes, please do as the dude says and put them there. So what were we talking about? Ravage zombies. So yeah, Ravage zombies will be it for VA as well. There'll be support for it. There's a setting that when you kill zombies, they can drop VA loot, and also the Ravage AI. If you use the Ravage AI, there's a setting where if you loot killed Ravage AI, they will also only spawn VA loot. You're a big Stalker fan. They use vodka to counter some radiation again in those two, and kind of why I visited Chernobyl. Nice. Yeah, I guess we can all say probably everyone in here is a big Stalker fan. It's an awesome game. Have you tried the all these mods? What were they called? Like these overhaul mods. Completely changes the game. Kind of cool. Right. Let's add some Ravage stuff. This version currently does not have any AI spawners, so I'm using Ravage. Looks fine. Ambient zombies, obviously. I'm really tuning it down because I think there's usually too many zombies, especially when you're trying to showcase something per player. Let's keep them a little bit away. And then we need the gear pool, and we go for... I don't really know what that... don't think that does anything. Filter equipment from selected add-ons. Military grade, infected equipment, yes. Armor free, no thank you. Nope. Nope. Yes. Nope. 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 So... yeah, Anthony. I think that's something you'll be able to play with VA as well. We had like the last year, maybe. We just worked on survival systems, and they are adjustable, so you can tune it as much as you want. So if you want to increase the hunger, to make it more difficult that your hunger or hydration and nutrition sync quicker, you can do that. So you can create a really hardcore survival game with it, where we're basically just busy hunting and scavenging and cooking and making sure you have all the items you need to survive. VA3.0 test whatever. Cool. Multiplayer. Position of death. There's a random respawn feature in VA, where you just randomly spawn on the map after you die. General. I should have probably done that before, but sorry. We just added the helicopter crash sites. Oh no, that's bandit camps. Helicopter crash sites. So let's enable these settings are old, they're not active, so I'm ignoring it. But the helicopter crash sites have just been added. You can enable or disable it. Always make sure in the server tab and you have override clients and override mission active. This only works for hosted and single player. For dedicated servers you need to export these settings and follow the guide on the Steam workshop page for my mod. We will have 11 and there's a 800 minimum distance between each crash site. You can enable this to allow helis to spawn and despawn, or you can have it one-off spawns per mission start or server init. I mean, that depends on your playstyle. If you play single player or a hosted multiplayer and you just want to sandbox play forever, you should probably turn it off. If you're on a dedicated server, then I think stuff should only reset with a server restart. Let me know if you want to know something specific, a specific setting, or if you're not clear about something. I mean, this is all stuff that you probably, a lot of this stuff you don't see on the Steam version, so this is all like the internal closed alpha build, but you know, if you want to know, if you're interested, let me know. Infection settings, enable infection, yes. Oh, I think that is not active because I'm pretty sure a nice thing would be to have a script or parameter that automatically blacklist an item you don't have DLC for, nor full, not full disable vanilla. Just the parts you did, but okay. Yeah, I was wondering, let me check. I'm sure I thought about it. Yeah, no, there is. You can disable all the DLC. There would be an option for me to do it for all the DLC. I honestly, personally, I just don't play with vanilla or DLC stuff, so I have a disabler for DLC gear and DLC weapons, and vanilla gear and vanilla weapons, as well as Ravage weapons and Ravage gear. And I usually play with Ravage gear because that gear is awesome. You could also apply the Ravage gear pool settings, but I usually don't do that. So yeah, this is the current solution. Yes, you have the Steam version, because this version I'm currently looking at is the version 3.0, and this is not available to anyone except the dude and me at the moment. At the moment it's on a very good way where you can say, okay, maybe in some time we will be able to release a alpha build that you guys can play and test, but we need to discuss yet how we want to do that. I think it might more be something, especially in the beginning, where we create a build, and that build we put on the server then, and then we make a stream, and people that want to come, they can test it for a week or so and provide feedback, and then we take it down again for development until it's stable. And at some point I think I would like to go into a open beta where people can just play it and we constantly update the version, and people just have to deal with the updates and the bugs until then. DLC items do not affect anything, yeah, but they are hell of annoying, so I think if you do not use DLC, just use this option here to disable. You'll be able to create custom groups for scavenging, like you can enter vehicle spawner should have DLC blacklisting. Yeah, you're right, good point. The scavenging system, dude, this is maybe something that you want to see. Here you can, this is the interface to add your personal scavenging groups. Yo, clone. And I think I need to activate that in background. I think it's currently disabled, but that should be a quick thing to do. So you can enter the model names of the buildings or of the objects you want to interact with. You can tell it what is the loot chance and what type of loot should it spawn. And maybe there will be a custom field here where there's custom loot. We'll see. The whitelisting works like this. You can just overwrite the arrays for rifles, for example. Civilian rifles, if you type in a rifle here or 10 rifles, only these rifles will spawn. I'd explain a member of my unit how to use VA. How did it go? Is it if you guys? I mean, I've been working with VAs like for 3 or 4 years now with the mod. Do you guys get along with all the settings? Like, how do you play? Do you just play the default, or do you go in and change all the settings? Like, is that fun? Or I personally love the more flexibility I get and the more customization I can make. So a heavy effort on the mod is to make it as flexible as possible. Custom loot, yeah. I will add one. I think maybe today we can do that, or at least one of the next things we do, because it's part of the scavenging. Let me quickly think. Do I have everything? Yes, I have everything. I'll have to add it somewhere here. Where is it? Here. I'll just add them here and basically add 4 placeholders, which will include then the custom scavenging objects and hold actions in the system. Yeah, it's a single player game, Anthony. I agree. It's awesome, but I also miss that you cannot play Stalker co-op. For me, that's sort of a must. I'm not a big single player fan. And that's alright, dude. I mean, if only advanced players will take every single possible feature of VA, that's fine. I think this is why it's also important, and I mean, we have spoken now about it a lot. The whole balancing and tuning of the base features is going to be really important. So that people, and this was also always something that I really wanted to have, that people can plug and play the mod. And just play it, and if they want to change stuff they can. So not sure if you guys, some of you might have seen that, but I've been reworking the repack for a while. And it works this way. You click on the magazine you want to repack. If you have enough non-full mags, you'll be able to repack. And in the top left corner, in the bottom left corner, it tells you how many magazines you have repacked, what type of magazine, how many you have repacked, 2 times full and 1 times partial with 2 out of 8 rounds, which you can see here. Yeah. This will be part of a bigger system, and I already spoke about it yesterday, so I won't go in depth, but basically you'll be able to find, if you find magazines in the world, they usually be not full, and you might also find empty ones, and magazines will be rare. what you will find going forward is mainly rounds, similar to like Daisy. So basically you'll have to carry rounds and you'll have a few magazines that you have to fill up and make sure to be prepared for a firefight, or consider, well, okay, I only have like one full mag but 50 rounds. Let's see if it makes sense to go into that firefight. And that will be a balancing thing, but I think it's much cooler like that than to just have an endless supply of magazines. Right, let's take a break here and next this nice bush and see what we can already craft. So you might remember we just added the scavenging objects, and I quickly wanted to show you guys how easy it is to add recipes. This is the recipe I prepared to create bandages from burlaps and alcohol. I have now a new name for alcohol, which is vodka. Right, so this is, can you see that? Might be a little small. Let me know if you can see that. I hope you do. So this is how you will be able to add recipes. It's an array, and the elements of the array will be the recipe. So you have the first element is the hold action name. If you're not familiar with hold action, it's basically that what you've just seen with the repacking, where you get this middle action that you can press spacebar and it will fill the circle. And we're creating these with that name here. You can just choose whatever you want, and then you add the second element, which is the end product. So we want to create bandages. This is the class name, the internal class name. And then there is a array within the array, which holds the materials that we use to create this bandage in this action. In this case it's 2, it can be 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, or just 1. And in this array with the material names, there's another nested array where it has the amounts. So you have this array, material 1, material 2, and the next array holds the amount you need of material 1 and material 2. You can put it to 10, so you would require 10 burlaps and 1 vodka to create alcohol. Here is the tool that you need. If you do not need a tool, then you can just leave it empty. For example, here, if you want to craft a splint and you work with burlap and firewood, you will need your not your wife, your knife. And in that case, I don't think we need it, so we don't need a tool. This here will hold the space for nearby objects. For example, I don't know, if you need a workstation to create something, you can put it in here. The class name of workstation objects. Do you need to be in water or near water? Yes, no, or false, true. This is false. And how long should the hold action or the crafting take? This should not be more than 12, because after 12 seconds the hold action will fade out and it's not really nice to see. So it's really confusing. Right. So this is now the add-on version. I will provide code where you can basically have this line and just integrate it even in your mission file. So for example, you have the mod, and in your mission you can just put in a line in the init where you can add this. But that's then, or I add a setting. Maybe I'll add a setting. We'll see. Sorry for the babbling, but so this is how I do it, and I can just, what I wanted to showcase is basically I can just, this is all I need to create new recipes. I can just add as many as I want, and the system here will then put it together and feed it into a hold action whenever I click. This will be adjustable by mission. So there will be a base array of recipes. And people says, sorry, this might be a bit confusing and I haven't worked it out fully, but basically this is not a mod. This is just a raw version of the mod. You will not see that as a user. As a user, you will be seeing something like this. And you will have a file or a VA setting where you put in these lines, you fill up the information. Maybe it will be a field that you can complete, or you just have to place this information into an empty field, and it will be then pulled into this system. So it's added to the crafting recipes. There's a very easy way to do that. So yes, exactly. The goal is people just use this format and they can add whatever they want. They can even use exile items, whatever. So let me know what should we add? Dude, what's the most important crafting material, craftable material you want? Using the current materials that are available. Let's add one more. And while you do the thinking, let's save. Obviously I'm debugging now, so this will not be needed, of course, later. So we just added the whole script to our player. And he's now able to craft alcohol recipe, bandages from burlap sacks and alcohol. Right, so we have that high quality vodka here. I'm not sure if you remember, but when I entered the mess here, it tells ArmA how much space that item should take. And this is an interesting tool because you can also help to force decisions. Like if such tools wouldn't take a lot of space or weight, people would just carry tons of useful items. So making something realistically heavy or just a bit heavy to make it harder to carry tons of the same item, I think it will be interesting for the whole loot and gameplay, because you'll have to scavenge. You might have to build a base where you can... Uh-oh, it's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, because it's not the main material. You can have a base... No, why? Something's not working. You can have a base where you can drop off spare loot for later crafting and so on, because you cannot always carry everything on your back, right? Okay, something is not working. What is it? Oh, just me being stupid. No, it's not me being stupid. Burlap. Yes, it's me being stupid. probably cannot carry that many. Okay, no, I need to change that. 1 or 2. Sorry, I had the creating bandages recipe set that it requires 10 burlaps, and I cannot carry 10 burlaps, so that doesn't make sense. So the recipe for bandages is 2 burlaps and 1 bottle of vodka. So if we click the burlaps, it will open the bandages action. It will use the name that we have specified, hold space to craft bandages, and in brackets burlap alcohol, so you know what you're using as materials. In the middle it shows you the picture of the item you're going to craft, and then you can craft it. Ta-da! And in the process, alcohol and the other recipes were used. So let's add something else. Let's also allow us to create, or already added that. So let's create splint from bandages, right? Let's get some firewood. Ah, shit. Okay, no, that I cannot do that yet because the bandaging bandages, if I double click them, they will now create 2 actions. One is it will instantly bandage, and the other one it was trying to create a splint. So I need to change that. I need to change the bandaging to a hold action. Not going to do that now. But I wanted to check why it was not possible to create. Why it did not pop up the add action for the bandage. Oh, for the splint crafted by bandage. Sorry, me talking hard. Let's see what chat says. Just pick one from. Okay, I'll pick one from the list. Anthony, you're saying crossbows, rare bullets, ammo, no problem. So go craft a crossbow bolter. Nah, yeah. The problem is we don't have a crossbow item. I don't know how to create weapons in ArmA. So if we have a mod, if you want to use a mod with a crossbow, you activate that mod, and then you could pull together a recipe where you can create a crossbow. You just define the crossbow as a craftable good and assign some materials that make sense to you. I cannot use it here because I don't have anything that I could use as a crossbow. I need to use stuff that's either in the game or that I can create, and I can only create inventory items. Yes, generally this script version is for creating materials with materials, or creating magazine class items out of magazine class items. I think one additional version I will create is something where you can create objects that can be placed in the map using magazine items. Not sure if that makes sense, but it would be a different solution. If you want to use materials, for example, like wood and screws and nails and metal poles to create a table or something, I would need to create a slightly different script. but I will actually do that because we can. Just want to quickly see what happens if I'm trying to create a splint with bandages. Why is it missing? Ah, okay. In the process of bandaging, it will remove the bandage temporarily from the inventory into his hand, so I'll have to change how bandaging works. Let's see if we can get another good recipe. Great. Campfire kit. Eat item requirements. Wood logs, wood sticks, burn material. That's cool. Yeah, I like it. We'll have to add some more materials for it, but I will add that. But that one, returned item, is a campfire kit. Okay, the campfire kit would be an inventory item that you can then double click and... Oh, that's actually a cool idea. So instead of double clicking the wood clocks, we would double click that campfire kit that we first create. That's doable. Now actually let's do that. So you can't see that, but basically suggestion is that the crafting recipe is for a campfire kit and it requires wood logs, wood sticks, burn material. And let's try to do that with the items we already have. Yeah, melee weapons and bows and stuff. I think there have been projects for bows, but I don't know, they never get finished as far as I know. There is battles that I don't want to fight with ArmA, so I'm picking my battles. But let's craft a campfire kit. We're using wood logs and woods and sticks. I don't have sticks. What could we use to burn? I don't want to use burlap again. These are all the items that VA creates. Medical items, food items. Drink items, tool items, materials. We could use burlap and burlap sack to create a fire. However, we should also add like paper. So paper will be less valuable because you cannot use it for any other recipe, but you also need to find it and carry it around. And burlap sacks you can use as a backup to make a fire, but it's a bit of a waste because you could make bandages and stuff with it. So you still have the option to do both. Welcome Dorpson on Discord. Are you in the stream? Is this one of you? Oh nice, I'm seeing you guys are adding recipes. Great. Great efforts. Try one recipe that have requirements of water or fire to be near. No, the water or fire is not. It's not implemented yet. I need to code it. Currently, adding stuff in the near objects or near water or so doesn't do anything in the code. I'll still have to code that. Tools to degrade. So there's two options. At the moment, the easy solution is that for most actions there will be a 1 to 5% chance that whenever you do something with a tool that it breaks. That's option 1. Option 2 is that I assign 100 count to or 100 units to a item, and every time we use an item, 1 point gets deducted. So you start, for example, the axe has that at the moment. The axe is, if you use the axe, if it's fresh, it has 100 durability, and every time you use it to chop a tree, durability will be reduced. I can actually show you. It's a bit more complicated to code, but not too much, so I think we'll probably use that method. Let me show you. The good thing about material persistency is that you can repair stuff. Yeah, sorry about the sound bug. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but the axe has lost durability. So you're saying the random breaking is better than the... Okay, I would have thought you liked the other one better, the second one. Okay, for me both works. It's easier to code the second one, and I think the solution where your tool might just randomly break, I think it's a bit more realistic. Usually, it's not entirely true, but usually you cannot just watch it break. Like, you don't always know exactly how well off your tool is. So you see it's nearly 60% now. Yeah, let's do it for now. Let's do it. I mean, the system is already in. I have it with the wood chopping. It already works like that. Oh, what's that? For the scavenging, for example, I have just added it where there's a chance that... Let me show you. For scavenging, stuff might break. Scavenging here. No, the first one is easier. It's just one line, but you can see it here. I added the option that if you loot something, depending on the object, there might be additional chance to loot something if you have tools. For example, if you loot vehicles and you have a wrench, you might get additional tire or fuel can or motor parts or light bulbs from it. In that case, when you're using a item, the tool might break and you can adjust that chance. So for all the scavenging, there's one tool break chance. If you can adjust that settings, but some objects like the crate have a requirement that you, like wooden crates, you will need a crowbar in order to be able to loot that. I can showcase afterwards. Let's try to break this axe and see what happens. Alright, I need to fix that sound bug, that's super annoying. The cool thing about the second persistency method would be that it would allow you to repair stuff. So there could be a second part to the crafting where you can do tools maintenance and just keep your tools sharp, for example. You could sharpen your axe, or so it's something we need to think about, but it's certainly not the number one priority. Let me see if I can quickly fix the gather wood. Well, isn't it better to separate hold actions, same object but two hold actions? For example, corrects one hold action for looting it for items, second for breaking it for metal scraps. Yeah, it's an idea. It's more code, it's more complicated. Not much, but it's just we need to think if it's really necessary. One thing that speaks against it is how we basically now if you loot something or if you scavenge something, it's scavenged and no one else can loot it anymore. And this works with a it's not a problem. It's a valid point, yeah. We might be able to do that. Currently the thought is that you interact, you scavenge something and you just take as much from it as you can. If you have tools, you can even get more. So yeah, I think it might be a good idea to have two, but it could. I think it's doable. Yeah, might be less complex than what I think right now, but I'll think about it. Yeah. Think if it's how much trouble it would cause and if there would be any problems because of multiple hold actions and then resetting in time and so on. Nope. Hi ArmA. Using a tool axe as a hand weapon would require me to code to actually code a melee weapon, and that's only few people have tried it, I believe, in ArmA. I personally don't know how to do it, and it's a completely different thing. What I'm doing right now, I'm just creating inventory items, which is much easier than those exile axes that you can take on your back or so. So, sorry, to your question, it is possible to use a tool axe as a hand weapon, but it's a major scripting effort that I don't really know about. So in my versions, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to use a hand weapon. If I find a way to include a valid melee system, I will do it. Right now, I believe the best I know about is Max melee weapon. It has its issues as well, but I think it's still a nice system. And I have integration for it, so if you want to use Max melee weapon, you can use it. I need to quickly take a break. The baby's crying. Be right back. I'll leave you guys with the view here. Yum yum yum. Kid 0, Daddy 1. Also I have food now, which is great. With regards to the scavenging, because the breaking up object for metal scrap should hide the objects. I don't think so. I mean, I know what you mean, but if it's a scrap pile or a wreck, if you use your like hand grinder or your tools that you have in such a survival environment, I think it will be fair to say that you might be able to take some parts, but you would not be able to take all the parts. So I think the way to go would be to lock the vehicle from being scavenged again, same as we do for other objects, but to leave it there. And you would basically just take a few metal pieces or so, rather than just taking down the whole piece and removing it. I don't think that would be realistic. Yum 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 yum. On base building portions, material penetration and AI zombie pathing right through it. While cool, it's less effective as it looks. Yes, indeed. Major frustration. Nothing we can really do against it. I mean, the dude explained to me that it also has to do with how the objects are created. It's more or less out of our reach. I don't know how other mods do it, like Exile, if these buildings cannot be penetrated by zombies. I don't know. We'll see. The VA building system will be something where you, similar to the crafting, you can add your own building blueprints. So you add the objects you want to build and you assign materials, building materials and tools to it, and then you just, set up your building system how you want it. If you want to place whole buildings and huts, you can do that. I think my idea of base building in a survival apocalypse will be a little bit more towards barricading and setting up a camp. If I look at like Deadside or Exile mods or Rust or so, I don't like those wooden sniper towers and those block huts. I don't enjoy that, so I'm not going to put too much work into creating a system like that. But I think what I'll do is basically think about, this is the base building VIP system right now. Think about how to best integrate different systems, for example the cooking, the hunting, the storing of items, and how to sort of make the base building system so that you can build your structures around you so that you can set up a cool camp, maybe get some camouflage and or get some cover with sandbags, stuff like that. So what one thing is, yeah, the whole pathing, I won't be able to fix that. And the general, I'm much less excited about base building than what I was when I started modding. I think in a single player scenario where you just build a nice little base, it works fine. In a competitive environment where players play against each other and try to use every possible advantage they have, it's probably bound to fail. So yeah, the fortifying up will be cool, but it will be more fortifying with regards to adding utilities to your base or to your house that you fortify up. For example, this crate, whatever you loot in here, it will be persistent. So this is a persistent saved crate. I'll try to do the same with the tent. Now currently Ravage is adding inventory space to the tent, and I want to do a VA version where we can replace such boxes here with a tent. So you place your tent, there you can store your stuff. You maybe put some sandbags around it to get some cover from bullets. And a third option, so one option will be utility, storage, and maybe objects that you can use to craft stuff, like a workbench for example, or a generator, stuff like that, maybe a water collector, a fireplace, and so on. Some walls as a defense, camouflage, and yeah, I'm repeating myself, but I think this will be mostly my idea of camouflaging. But that will be, in the end, the system will be there. If you want to add whole houses or whole walls, you can do that. I mean, that's up to you then, your game, your vision of your game. Right. What was I doing before the baby started crying? I wanted to change that. Just going to change how the sound works in the wood chopper. Because that's very annoying. Sounds are a bitch. No wait, what am I doing? Oh. Barricading house would be nice to have instead of built from wall parts, yeah, I agree. But it will need to be done in a specific way in order not to have Zeds walk through its walls. I'm still not, I mean, we'll have to play around with it. I understand that how you see it, that basically you need to block their pathfinding in a certain way. So basically you barricade the door entrance, then you put a lot of objects in a little bit of a distance around the house, so there is no, all the ways are obstructed. Yeah. Because the moment that get near houses, it finds these points, he clinch. And snakes open doors. Milsim. Yeah, says I've never seen that, but I can imagine. Yeah, it's like a train. He calculates its way, the zombie, and he will just walk through stuff. I think the solution with base building we could do is basically we just allow the player to build a bit into the height, or you know, add ladders to like places where you wouldn't be able to reach just by walking, so you can elevate yourself a little bit and be safe from zombies. Now something I didn't look at possible because I got the Steam version, but is VA dependent on Ravage for food and hydration? No sir, it can be standalone, and it is standalone in version 3.0. If you look at the stream, you can see on the right side, you can see 4 huts, or one hut with 4 icons. The first one is just your health. The second one is your food, your nutrition, sorry. So this this white circle will, if it's a full circle, full white circle, you're 100% on nutrition, you're fully fed, and it will reduce. At some point you will start to feel the issues you get when you're hungry. You take damage and you starve. This one, this is the third one, is hydration. Same principle. It needs to be tuned a little bit, but hydration should be ticking down, even when you're healthy, should be ticking down quicker than food. So drinking will be more important than eating. And factors like sickness, as in bacteria infection, food poisoning, zombie infection, or low blood status, will also influence your thirst and your hunger. So your hydration will go down quicker if you have some sort of a disease or infection or sickness, and if you're running and if you're low on stamina. So if you're exhausting yourself by running around with full gear, hunger and hydration will also tick down quicker. Now fourth, you'll have your blood level. If you get injured and you start to bleed, this white circle will tick down slowly, and you will basically bleed out, and when you're on a low blood state, you will get damage and die at some point. There will be also, wait, let me show you guys. Raw meat. If you eat something that's not cooked, this is by the way, this is how eating works. Yes, zombies are agents and act differently than AI units. Oh, I just found a bug. Shit. I think, dude, I just confirmed the bug you mentioned earlier. If I'm... Yeah. If I'm interrupting the eating by opening the inventory, it will delete the item I was about to eat. Okay, that's a bug I need to fix. Running will also interrupt the... Oh, okay. So there, if you double click the item you want to eat, you're now about to eat. You cannot eat if you have your gun in your hand, so it needs to be put away. Now you could eat. If now an enemy pops up and you need to run away, you start running, and while running it gives you the message, I cannot eat while holding a weapon or running. So as you can imagine, then if you take your weapon out and need to start shooting, the hold action is gone and it won't destroy you. It won't disturb you anymore. Now if you try to reproduce it, it doesn't always possible. Yes, dude, I think I know why it's happening. So as you could see, there's 3 ways to interrupt the eating hold action. One is by taking out your weapon, one is by running, and one is by opening the inventory. And it seems that only the opening inventory will remove the ingredient you were about to eat. And that makes sense because I know there's a different interruption function for that, so I need to fix that. Well spotted. See you guys, the dude always finds the errors. Well, let me show you. So Anthony, this is basically the the hydration and nutrition system, and this is how you can eat. You double click the item and you use the hold action. Every time it ticks, you take a bite, so you can sort of steer it. You might have seen now in the top right corner the nutrition went up. What's pinpoint? Oh good, you can pinpoint. What do you mean? And I was eating raw meat, so I got food poisoning, which is this indicator, the 5th element. And now because I have food poisoning, my thirst and hunger will also be reduced, and I might puke sometime, which will empty pretty much my hydration and my nutrition. We can cure that by taking antibiotics. So I puked, and most of my hydration is gone. So dude, the pitching fixed the puking. The puking was very weirdly sounding until yesterday, so that's fixed. Oh, I can pinpoint. Yeah, I can pinpoint it in the code. Yeah, I know. I probably know where I forgot to add something, but it's good that you saw it. So Anthony, that's pretty much the hunger system, and it's intended that it will replace Ravage hunger system. So if you play VA, you'll have the whole framework of a survival mod that you can use. So you saw the puking. We can get rid of the bacteria. Yeah. Well, you're puking, so basically you're... maybe it should be less because... Yeah, we can tune it. At the moment I think it's 50% of your current hydration and nutrition. Taking antibiotics, you just double click it, you take a pill, and each pill takes some time before it kicks in, and then it has a 60 or 80% chance to heal you. To cure your bacteria or food poisoning infection. If you want to be sure to be cured, you just take a couple, but the effect takes some time. You get bacteria infection from drinking dirty water, and you get food poisoning from eating raw food or uncooked food. So they'll bring me to the next point actually. The cooking system. Well, I don't want to showcase this. I showcased it in the last stream. We'll go back right to crafting in a second. But basically you can cook, and you can use raw food to cook it into cooked food, and cooked food will never give you food poisoning, and it will provide you with more nutrition, maybe sometimes a bit of hydration if it's a soup or something. And it will also, if you eat the highest tier food, the cooked meal or the hot soup, it will also provide you with a well-fed status where you do not lose hydration and nutrition for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. Drinking works similar than eating, as shown. So yeah, I hope that little bit explains the new food and hunger system. I'm pretty sure I wanted to add... Oh yeah, I wanted to fix the wood chopping. I just need to find an example where I did it right, so I can copy it into the wood chopping sound. Scavenging, I believe. No. Why actually is it not working properly? I don't understand right now why the sound behaved like it did. I don't know. It should only play once more. Maybe that's too long. Maybe it should only play one more time, at least when the tree is down. Yeah, but it shouldn't be because it's like a 1 second sound, so it should. I'll look at it separately. Let's do crafting sound. Crafting stuff. So let's create a placeable fire kit. So we'll have to create another item. Inventory item, splint, no, grinder, no. Let's make it here. By the way, if you craft something and you do not have inventory space, it will be dropped onto the ground. Campfire kit. A fucking campfire kit, whatever. Campfire kit, a placeable. Blah. I'm pretty sure I have so many spelling errors in this mod. To set up a fireplace, and then I will be able to fuel, because right now if you... Actually, I'm not sure if that's the case. Let me test something. Right now, if you double click the firewood, that will place a campfire. You might have noticed that the bacteria infection is gone by now. Right, so the old method, there was that if I was close to a fireplace or looking at the fireplace, and if I double clicked a wooden log, a firewood log, okay, it still does that. So there's actually two systems at the moment to add wood to the fireplace. One is by double clicking the item while looking at the fire, and the other one is by just looking at the fire, and if you have firewood in your inventory, it will pop the option. I think what I'll do is I will remove the double click from firewood and make it that double clicking firewood will open the crafting recipe to craft a campfire kit, and then double clicking the campfire kit item will place the campfire. I think that makes more sense. Yeah. What do you guys think? Anthony, you love the food poisoning. Yeah, and I kind of like it. Okay, so water collection, will you be able to get from any water of any map when it was? Right now, you cannot get water from... Let me see. You cannot get water from the open sea or rivers. I had that option, but I removed it for now. What you can do is you can take a empty bottle, let's assume you have looted an empty bottle, and with that bottle you can walk up on any water source and get water from the water source. Water sources are wells, all the different wells, water tanks, water dispensers, yeah, just anything where you realistically could get water from. And each water source, let's say a well, only has a certain amount of water available. So if you're unlucky, then the well is already dried out, and if you're lucky, it has many liters of water left for you. Obviously then, if you play multiplayer and others have already exhausted a water source, then, well, bad luck. You won't be able to get more water off that well. I'm not 100% sure if I'll leave that in like that. Maybe I will remove the feature where wells can be exhausted, because at some point I also need to give the players then an option where they can I removed the keyless shit. I need to give the player an option where even if the wells are dried up, you know, he needs to have a way to get water, even if it's harder and if it takes longer. I would love to see active rainwater collection script. I'll need to dig into Unreal Market for water collection models. Alright, dudes, do that. Yeah, I think for that we could use a collector. And yeah, I think that would be one solution, that you can gather water from sources that are on the map, or with crafting and base building you could set up your camp, and you know, you set up your camp in a place where you feel safe, and it's a remote and a bit hidden, and there you can craft what's that? And there you could craft a water collector. That'd be cool. So it might take some materials and knowledge to craft it, but it would then and it would then slowly gather water for you. So at least you have an alternative. Right, so yeah, I guess that would be cool. And I need to think, I mean, getting water from water sources, you should be able to get water from here, because this is obviously salt water. But you should be... Why are there so many helicopter crash sites? That's too much, I need to check that. That's probably not good. There should only be like 10 or so. Maybe from this area you should be able to... Let's assume this is a river that has his origin somewhere here, so it's a sweetwater river. You should be able to get water from here. And there's some lakes around here that you cannot see on the map, or this. So I think it would be cool if you could get water from inland lakes or sweetwater rivers, but you would need to be blocked from salt water. So how do you do that? The mission makers would have to place markers over the saltwater areas. Because what's going on? I need to redo it. It didn't match into the new system with scavenging, with the whole I look at stuff and get something from it. Uh-oh. No, why? What the fuck? Okay, drinking is still bugged. Fuck off. Fucking. Right, so there's a problem with drinking. It shouldn't duplicate. Empty container. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. But it's probably a quick fix. But that shouldn't happen, obviously. There should be just one option to drink at the well, and one to refill the water bottle you currently have in your inventory. So you see I didn't have any space in my inventory, so it dropped the water bottle on the ground. And then you have a bottle of dirty water that you can then boil over a fire to get clean water, clean drinking water. If you would drink this water now, you would very likely get the bacteria infection. Drinking works like that, by the way. Ignore. You can also empty containers. I don't know what's going on. So drinking is... I need to fix drinking. That's not good. Why did you... yeah, so I disabled the water gathering from seawater or any lakes because I could not yet think out the system where I can exclude sea lake. So I will add it again, and it will probably be down to the mission maker to distinguish between saltwater and seawater. And but I don't think that's a big problem. I mean, even if you would want to allow people to drink from the coast, I mean, it's only a valid option when you're here and have enough carrying capacity to bring all your bottles from here to the inland. So we'll see. So two or three bugs noticed the eating, where the food gets removed, and the helicrash sites, because it spawns way too many. Might be spawning endlessly. And the drinking. What's up with that helicrash? Okay, so water collector. Fresh rain. Yeah, fresh rain. Something like a water collector would be cool. Let's finish the campfire. Campfire kit. Picture. I need a campfire model. Let's take the vanilla one. Yeah, let's take this one. We need the preview. Oops. Let's make it a little bit lighter. Editor model. take the editor model as a preview, for now. The problem with editor previews is it's not showing a transparent picture, it's showing a picture with a gray virtual reality background, so it's a bit annoying. Nom 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 nom. Sorry for eating. So we have the campfire. We created the item. Woodlogs. Woodlogs, the dude suggested woodlogs, wood sticks, and burn material. Until we have models, it doesn't make much sense to create more wood item because there's just not enough models to do that. But actually what we could do, let's do something really cheap trick. Let's create like Kindle. It's called Kindle, I believe, like small sticks. And we just use some very stupid placeholder model for it. Already removing it. So as you can see, for some of the items I have a oh, thanks, Zaza. Why did I do that? Picture. It's a picture. Well spotted, man. Well spotted. Thank you. Picture. You can see that some of the items have a basically where the item has a double click function. For example, bandages, which is now not a recipe, crafting recipe. The tooltip tells you so. So the tooltip will tell you how you can use an item. However, for firewood I remove it. Brings me to another point, how do people know what recipes exist? And I think for that we will just create items that are like recipes that can be found in the world, and either you look at it and you read it and then you know what the recipe is and you just need to memorize it, or it's something that you need to find, and if you find it once you can double click it and unlock a recipe. Something like that. I'm not sure yet how to do it. You can also, we currently have point of interests and survivor diaries. You can find survivor diaries from killed AI, and if you double click that survivor diary, it will reveal you either that there's no interesting information in the document, or it will point you on your map, it will show you a map marker of a site of interest, as a bandit camp, a hideout, a crash site, a car spawn. And there we could also build it in that you could learn recipes or blueprints for base building or cooking or crafting. So this way you would need to find the recipe to unlock the ability to craft it. While otherwise you just need to find the information about it once, and then if you memorize it, you know it and you can do it. You can craft it all over again. You just need to know what materials to have in your inventory and what to double click to activate it. So let me know what you guys think. If you think it should be something where you can find, loot, or even buy recipes. And once you have bought or found the recipe, you'll be able to craft it. Or if it's just, you'll just have to find out about it. I agree. Dude, I agree. So our diary should randomly return any of these: point of interest, location, blueprint, or recipe. Yeah, maybe vehicle spawns, which is a point of interest actually. Yeah. So I agree. And there should be a chance that there is no interesting loot. What do you guys think about not being able to craft something until you have learned the recipe, versus if you already know about it, you can craft it, but finding recipes will just help you to memorize it or to learn a recipe when you have never played the mod. The other way around, if we do it this way, the second way, people could also play around. Like they say, all right, maybe it makes sense if I have a burlap and a knife and a firewood, maybe it's possible to craft something with it. So let's try. I think both could be interesting. It could also add some sort of a progress if you have to search and scavenge for recipes. This will be another goal in your game. So you sort of have something more to loot and to hunt for, and maybe trade with other players, you know? Yeah, very good point, dude. Very good point. So basically the dude just said, only if you have it in your inventory you'll be able to craft, which means that you can trade it, so we add even more value to an item. You can use it for your survival. It's valuable because of gameplay, because it's something you need to look for that is valuable, and you can also, and then you can also trade it with other players. So if you have something twice and you know it's a valuable recipe, nice, you maybe can trade it for 2 guns or something. I really like that idea, man. I think this is how we do it. Actually, the learning is also my least favorite. Other than the fact that you'd have to hunt for it, but having the requirement that the recipe is in your inventory, that is cool. So you have to find it. You need to store it somewhere. Yes, Sasa. So you're saying that in some games it takes away replayability if you learn it, or if you just need to know what it is. So you're saying that you also prefer the dude's suggestion? Kindle, firewood. Dude, I need a firewood Kindle picture. Oh, I hate creating pictures for ArmA. Do we have something already? Oh, we have a fireplace picture. Let's use this. In some games it takes away replayability. It is best to know it, not to find it in game. Okay, so you're going the other way. Yeah, fair enough. I think, you know, both have both options are valid. Why would it Why would it take away replayability, however? Because you think it's annoying if you have to reform it again? I would assume that's the reason, but let me know. Because actually when you wrote about replayability, I was thinking, well, right, because if you just need to know it in your mind, what the recipes are, it's boring to replay because you already know it. You have the full arsenal of recipes from the start. But you have the other, I assume you have the other opinion that you basically, if you start again, you don't want to reform all the materials again, which is a valid point. Picture fireplace 1. Right, fireplace. Do we have any matches, muskets? Do we have any picture for Kindle or small? Do you know what the wood underline CO picture is? Let's actually try it. Screw it. We don't have anything better, so. Yeah, but if he starts with a new character or something. I must say, I like the version where you have to carry it on you. So because it also goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand with the scavenging, the farming, the player interaction, the survivor diaries, the base building. So you have stuff where it makes sense that you store it somewhere. So you find a nice hiding spot for your camp. You build up. You place your tent. You hide it. But it's a .paa file. Oh, okay. So do you think it's not useful? I don't know. Well, if I have items, I cannot do nothing. Find receipts. I mean, it's a valid point. I think the idea, I really like the idea. Maybe it's not practical. Maybe if we implement it and then play it, it will not be fun. That could be. That could be that it's too restrictive, and then it's binding your possibilities. Okay, so nice. I cannot use it. Let's go back to firewood then. And let's switch to. I actually want to use Kindle for. Let's find something that we can use as a Kindle replacement. Worst case, I'll use the magazine model. I need to see how complex it is, Anthony. I mean, generally I'm all about flexibility and settings. So I was actually just thinking if I can add a option to switch between you need to have it in your inventory or just seeing it. I think what would be possible is that one setting is that you have to have it in your inventory while crafting. And then you have a checkbox to click to disable that. And then it would, in the code, it would just be something that is skipped, a requirement that is script that I can isolate. So maybe it's possible to have a system where you can loot recipes that have a name and they have a description where it tells you what materials you need to use to craft that item. So you have it as an information, and you can turn off the requirement to have it in your inventory. I think that could be a version where we can leave it up to the user to decide how he wants to do it. So here, I'm not sure if I made it clear, but here we will use the Kindle as the main ingredient, the main material. So the Kindle will be the one we need to double click on to get the campfire set recipe. Simplify things a little bit. Let's do a second version, Kindle and burlap. And then we use cloth scraps. And we create a new item, cloth scraps. And I do that because I want to create a action where you can rip uniforms into cloth scraps, because there's too many uniforms out there, and I think it's something that could be useful. Then the whole resources gathering raw material refined part. No, I think we're talking about recipes. You need to have the materials for it, and the recipe will just tell you which materials you need for what recipe. So it's like a crafting book or so. So you need the resource gathering, you need the raw material, refining, and so on to craft stuff. The blueprints just tell you how to do it. And if you know it by heart and you do not want the requirement to have the recipe in your inventory, you just craft it out of your, memory. And the requirement to have the recipes in your inbox, in your inventory just adds another part to it. Yeah. I think I'll leave it at, I think there's an easy chance to leave it as an option so that you can have the requirement and add even more value to the recipes, or you remove it and crafting will be made a bit easier. You still have to gather all the ingredients, but you at least if you know already that the recipe works like that, then you can do it. So I think we have both. I think those two versions are the best versions. I think the having to double click and then learn the recipe is probably the worst. Might be interesting as well, but a bit RPG-y. So I think like right now what I'll do is I'll try to come up with a system where both options are possible. So you have recipes that have all the information, and if you want to play super hardcore, you can add the option that you need to have the recipe on you while crafting in order to also be able to trade stuff. Yeah, it will allow you to build up your possibilities to create. And I think that that's a cool thing in a game where you progress by looting. So you loot stuff, you discover a new recipe, and now you know, oh nice, now I can even extend my base with a, I don't know, with a new water dispenser. And the cool thing is that we could make some recipes rarer than others. So for example, very simple recipes drop more often, and then some recipes we just let it drop less often, so there's even more a rarity system in it. You know, maybe stuff for survival that could really help you survive better, or I don't know. The water collector, so could be a rare recipe. I like the idea. I think I personally I would play with the recipe requirement, because I would place my recipes or most of my recipes in my base. So I would have another reason to build a small base, a small camp that is hidden away somewhere, and to cycle back to it regularly, which is also affecting again your gameplay. And then I can slowly gather recipes, and with better recipes or blueprints, I can craft a better base and so on. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, while playing, I think Anthony has a good point where you say like there's a line between challenging and aggravating, and we need to find out: is it fun? Is it not fun? Um, Multiplayer, but sticks. That would work in multiplayer, but sticks it to the single players. Yeah, it will work for both single player and multiplayer. Yeah, we could. I mean, I trade system is still a bit far away, but for single player, you might just not have the. Yeah, no, actually, you can just add a trader for recipes. So you can seek out people and they might have a rare recipe or they want to buy yours. But that's then part of a trade system that's currently a bit far away. Yeah, nice idea, Sasa, with regards to a book with a few recipes rather than just one recipe sheet. It would also match a survivor diary, that the guy has his diary where he writes his darkest thoughts and so on, but also has his cookbook with a few. Hey, that's actually a cool idea, Sasa. I like it. Let's assume let's assume we talk about scenarios where you have to have the recipe on you or the blueprint to craft. And let's now talk about, we have recipes for cooking, recipes for crafting, and we have blueprints for base building. For example, for um, for cooking, if you have a book with 3 random recipes, you would have to carry along only one book, because you want to carry it along because you want to be able to cook when you're on the road, right? Now, you could have books with very, very valid combination of recipes. Like you have a book that has a very high value food recipe that gains you a lot of nutrition, but also requires a lot of material. And then there is a cooking recipe that has a very low reagent or easy to get reagent costs and gives you moderate nutrition. So you have, and then you have a third one that does something with hydration. So you would have like a survivor survivor booklet that is good for the road, so you don't have to carry too many different recipes. I like the idea. Yeah, I think I agree that that's also a thought. I mean, um, if there's objects that every kid knows how to put that together, as you say, sandbags, for example, you don't need a recipe for that. I think we should exclude that. That's just so just that should just be something that you can craft. I agree. But I really like what depth that whole system could bring into the game. So some stuff you can craft, you just have to farm stuff. And and there's progress, there's different rarities and variations. So Sasa, your idea with the booklet I really like, because I can really imagine that it could be something that's quite a jackpot to find a good combination of recipes, so you can take this one on your journey and it will allow you to cook with just one book and cook for different occasions where you have a lot of access to meat, for example, or you just have to make do with very limited food ingredients. So I really like this. Anthony, you think when we hit it? When he did the raw meat, I thought instantly of filet killed AI or even zombie meat. Yeah, way to spoil it, dude. I want to show him. So yeah, you can actually, you can actually, you can gut all the animals in ArmA, and you can gut zombies. If you eat the zombie meat uncooked, you will get infected and you get diarrhea. But diarrhea, you won't care about diarrhea because you're infected. And if you cook the infected meat, the chance that you get infected is lower, but it's still there. So for desperate moments, you might consider eating raw meat. Maybe you have enough anti-infection pills or injectors to cure yourself, or it will be situational, but you'll have the option. Yeah, exactly. If you get infection, food poisoning, and yeah, I mean you'll die. I mean the thing is also all these things will also push you or motivate you to be less risky, because at some point you don't want to die, right? You want to survive because you have all these recipes, you have this gear. So I think it's a cool incentive to play careful, to be a bit more thoughtful about combat engagements. So I think this is a good thing that you can lose stuff, because you will less likely just be guns blazing into PvP. You probably try to play a bit more careful, to observe a city first before you move in, because you don't want to risk to dying. So I think that would actually be a good thing if you're afraid to lose your cookbooks. Yeah, so cannibal will be another thing where you can eat like non-infected meat. I haven't implemented that, but might too. And there it would just be interesting to what punishment we link it. One of our buddies, Yuki, has a system that he drafted up, a sanity system where basically different acts decrease your sanity, and at low sanity you have certain problems. And obviously, becoming a cannibal to survive would really, really drop your sanity. So yeah, many options to do. Very, very cool stuff. Cloth scraps. Do we have any model or picture we could use for cloth scraps? Let's go 15. That's gonna be very light. Burlap, food sack. There's napkins. Vodka refills your sanity. Vodka refills sanity. Let's take this one. What I really like, it's probably a year ago when I finally figured out how I can create my own items, inventory items, and it's such a bloody game changer because it adds so much possibilities to create stuff. Do you guys, by the way, do you guys think it's a problem that, I mean, this is the third devlog, they're really unscripted, very spontaneous. I'm just really filming my evenings and talking a little bit more. But do you think it's a big problem that the videos are like always 2 to 3 hours long? I don't really see myself editing much. There's a cloth item model. Yeah, this one, right? Is it not this one? The napkin? Let me know, then I take another one. Mm. Yeah, I don't want to spend time editing videos actually. Yeah, I get the message. I know what you mean. I agree. Do we have a napkin picture? No. Wait, what? You said? Ah, now I get it. There's a cloth item model. Okay, not a, but we don't have a picture, right? I don't think. World of Warcraft music, best music to chill. JPEG here. Can you carry uniform in your inventory? Do you guys know that? Kindle, right. Okay. Good. Maybe I need to. Yeah, I need to empty it. Nice. Right clicking is interacting, double clicking is not interacting. Doesn't do anything. I just need to make sure to restrict what I double click on. That I cannot double click on items that I don't want to react somehow. So that there's no conflict there. I just need to find out how I can identify if I'm clicking at the uniform or not. Just thinking. Because I want that I can double click. If I have a knife, I want to be able to double click on the uniform and it will allow me to rip the uniform apart into cloth. Uniforms, gear. I'm thinking of a way, if I'm looking at the object, what I need to ask the system that it tells me, hey look, this is a uniform. Dude, I think the issue with the well when drinking we had, where it multiplied, that multiplied the hold action. I think it's the same problem we had with the scavenging in general. So maybe it will be a quick fix as well. Yeah, we were thinking the same way, that there should be some sort of a side effect to being a cannibal. an addiction or something that will punish you, so you'll have some advantages, but you'll also have punishment for it. Exactly, so you can save yourself from starving, but you'll have to deal with the consequences. And I mean, realistically, I will not be working on the sanity system anytime soon, just because I need to get some other stuff done, but maybe something in addition. Exactly, yeah, it looks like the same duplication with the fridges and lockers. Right. The thing is, I just need to... get parents. What? What? Oh. That's wrong. I'm not sure if uniforms are under CFG weapons. Yeah, they are. Right, okay, so... What? What? Why not? Right, now I'm confused. That should work. So this is basically the... Thanks, Anthony. Nice to hear. We'll do our best. So this code here should return the parents of the item structure, and is kind of should actually tell me if... Why? The fuck? Wait, what am I doing now? I don't understand why this doesn't work. It's kind of... Oh. Okay. I was confused for a second. This is kind of... What did we say? Uniform base. Yes! Victory! Great success. Right. Oh, we can actually add it as a... Nice. We can add it as a crafting recipe as well. So the button was clicked. I need to do me the thinking here. This is where I define what happens when I double click on something in the inventory screen. Alright, okay. If the thing I clicked is in the crafting regions, or if, no wait, it's already an if. Or if it, these. I think I just found a workaround. Just have to filter it with dirty. So basically, this is telling the system, all right, you just clicked on something, and if what I clicked is an item that is in an array that shows me the main crafting reagents of all my recipes, then it will start the recipe stuff. Now I also need to check if that uniform, if that item is a uniform, and if so, it will also spawn crafting recipes. That should work. And then I need to see if what I can do in this system here. Let's try to write the to write the recipe for it. How should we call that? Cut uniform into cloth scraps. Is that too long? VA glove scraps. It has no material requirements. It just needs a knife. Right, let's see if we can work that in. What we do now is for every recipe, the code here below is called. So now we could filter it out a bit. We say ah shit, maybe it will be a problem to delete that uniform. But here we could basically say is uniform. So it now checks if the thing we just looked at, if that's in uniform, and if it's a uniform and it got that far, it means that yeah, it basically means that we're looking at the uniform we want to destroy. If uniform is true, then I have no idea how I can target and delete the uniform now in my inventory. That's going to be a challenge. Right. Saved my ass here. Now you can see the earplugs in action, because that was really noisy. And you can see that I'm bleeding now. Top right, I'm not sure if you can see it from the screen, but it basically, the blood circle starts to reduce and you see a little white down arrow. Let's get some bandages. I have no clue now how I can remove a target and remove a uniform. Yeah, this command doesn't recognize it. Oh, no, I'm so stupid. We just, what we do is we get all the items. Items player, and we cycle. So basically we ask for all the items that are in the player inventory, and then we cycle through all these items and filter out the one that matches the class name of the object we clicked. X equal to class name count items. So what this does is it basically, we double click here, this line, we find out if what we double clicked on is a uniform. If it's the case, we don't care about the rest of the code, then we just want to exit the code with the uniform specific code. We just want to rip apart the uniform and destroy it and spawn and loot cloth scraps. So what we do then is, now we know this here is basically true. This command here will return true, so this local variable holds true. If true, exit with, which is basically meaning if this is okay, then end this script with the following code. Then we search all the items in the player. Items and magazines are different classes, so if you have, in this case we look for items, it will detect all the uniform and maybe other. Nope, it doesn't. Does it? No. Ah, oh, okay. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, you're right. Good point, thank you. Very good point. There's backpack container. Cheers, man. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's going to be a problem. If we wear the same uniform, then we have a problem because then it will return. It might delete the wrong one. No, actually, it won't, because you then just do delete item uniform, and it cannot delete the uniform you're carrying then. But I think it's just to be safe. Let's do this. Oh wait, that's wrong. Wrong command. Backpack containers, that. What? Okay. Shit. Oh. Why? I need a command that returns the content of my backpack. Not my fucking backpack. Okay, let's try it anyway with the other method. Let's just try to go for the items and let's see if it's causing a problem if we're wearing the same uniform. Items player, which is basically returning this. You can only store it in the backpack, it seems. The uniform. Blah blah is equal to fuck. Need to test something. Wait. Is it that easy? Wait. Maybe it's much easier than I think. Oh. Nice. Okay. It was much easier than I thought. Good. Why not? So. I think it's just much simpler. Oh, I didn't see your comment, Anthony. Wouldn't it be better to cut the uniform based on proximity on the ground? Yeah, we can try that. We can add a second one. You'd have to detect a dummy ground weapon holder and search its content for a uniform. Yeah, it's possible. I think so. We could have the scavenging. Let's try something else. Maybe it's just a space issue. Why did that zombie not have loot? Just want to quickly see if we indeed don't need to restrict the commands too. Yeah, maybe it's just too small. Maybe it's Okay, you need a specific command for remove item will not remove items from the backpack. Backpacks are a little special, so makes sense. Let's see if we can get that to work here. What do you mean drop first? Drop first, what do you mean with that? What do we have? If proximity could apply to other cloth loot spawns like bedrolls and tents too, if you didn't need them. Yeah, but the double click one can be easier made there with these items. If they're magazine items, it's very easy to double click, interact with them. This is the problem here because it's a uniform, that's a bit special. But we might add a scavenging option. Let me show you the scavenging actually, because I don't think I'm not sure if you've seen it. So scavenging works like that. This is an object, this is the junk category, I walk up to it and I get the hold action to search it. If I find something, I can loot, for example, the screws. Here I can also search these, this is junk. And so on. So depending on the object you look at, you might get different loot options. Alright, let's try that. Let's take the uniform. Oh, I already had it. Shit. Nope. But maybe it's a mass issue. Maybe I need a bigger vest. But let's actually try to write the code. Right. Actually, I don't think I need this. Right, let's just try. Ah. I need to restart the game for that. I need to update the mod first. Wakey wakey. now I'm awake again. No, I think there is not enough room in vests, as far as I remember. Not single vest can store uniform. Modded uniforms, okay, so it's a spacing issue. We're not celebrating anything, I just wanted to wake up. Wait, I screwed up. Let me do it again. It's actually prepared to do that, and I forgot. What a missed opportunity. Shame, shame. Shame. Yeah, I'm the funny person. The funny person. Yeah, I know. Actually, just today I looked at the settings. I wanted to add 2 more scenes and add shortcuts, but then it was just too quickly before the stream. So I want to make a video, like a sort of a video where a survivor geared guy sits in a cool space, maybe at night with a fire, and you know, the camera just captures it in a loop, sort of, that I can run before the stream starts, or as a break or so. No, the guy doesn't have a backpack. Screw you. I think we'll add another option to get cloth into the scavenging system. So we can get cloth from junk piles, from luggage heaps if you have a knife, from furniture. Basically you cut it out from clothing that's in the furniture. Yeah, it's actually good, let's do that. And one scene with the dancing leprechauns, yeah, absolutely. That's part of the deal now. What did we add today? A grinder and alcohol. Vodka. Material items. Material girl. Cloth scraps. Did we add anything else? No, just a Kindle, but we don't want that in the... Yeah, it's not a must-have from uniform. It would just be nice use of uniforms, because usually in an emergency you would be able to use your uniform or another guy's uniform, rip it up and make bandages from it. No, it's a similar principle, but it's my own system. Didn't invent it, but I wrote it myself based on an idea I got from Ravage, of course. And the dude and Yuki sent me something from Exile. That where I got the idea from. First iteration we actually had something where you had to press a key. Look at something, press a key, and then you could loot it. And then we moved to this option, which is much better, I think. Yeah, I'll create own sleeping bags and tents so I can have some control there. I think a bigger, like, I'm adding it here to the loot table. Here, so it will spawn from, when it's in here it will spawn from junk and so on. So it will be integrated in multiple ways, but I want it to work like this. No, it doesn't work. Why do you not work? Fuck you. That should work, okay. Why are you not reacting? What's your problem? Doesn't seem to trigger the... Right. I'll do it differently. That's some weird ass music. Goddamn Witcher. I'll separate the function. There's actually no need for me to have it in the recipe crafting area, because it will be hard coded anyway. And hey Mark, thank you. Good to hear. Always good to hear that stuff. Did you just find the mod recently? I just saw that today you joined the channel. So is the mod new to you, or do you play? Have you been playing for a while? Right, let's make our own function for this. Cut uniform. Good. Been playing for around a week, trying to get my settings just right. Fantastic. Shame the ArmA engine is so hard on performance. Yeah, man. When it comes to... So yeah, it is. Night, Zaza. Thanks for all the inputs, man. Very cool ideas. Looking forward when we can implement that recipe system. So thanks for joining and for the inputs. It's great. Good brainstorming. Yeah, man, the ArmA engine is a challenge. I mean, if you and then looking at this mod and other cool maps and Ravage, you'll have to to do some balancing. And I mean, for example, my old PC, I could barely run ArmA. I mean, I could barely write the scripts and test them a little bit, but usually even when testing my scripts, ArmA would crash. So if you have an okay-ish PC, then it's likely a matter of just making sure that you only use as many mods as are really necessary. The less mods, the better, and that you do not place too much stuff in your mission. But if you specifically look at VA, if you want to reduce or increase FPS, you should keep the AI stalkers and the AI patrols low. If you combine it with Ravage, you should make sure that you do not spawn too many zombies and too many AI. These are the things that kill FPS most. playing Daisy standalone PV service on Luna. So my mod is the what is my mod slowing? What is my mod killing FPS compared to the Daisy standalone PvE servers? Oh wait, the standalone PvE. Okay. Yeah, perhaps a strong point. It's really you have a lot of opportunities with ArmA, but it's a balancing act. The good thing is, I believe the new, I mean the Steam version. Yeah, dude, I think so too. SSD memory, CPU, with a 1 core. Yeah. But the old mod on Steam, I think it's heavier on FPS. So I think it will be much better with this version 3.0. You should notice a difference because the code is much more optimized. The dude and I are currently QAing stuff, and we just noticed again that some old side spawner scripts are just very badly optimized. Why are you not reacting? Why? Oh, because I have not activated any code. I would also recommend, if you can play on a dedicated server, it will take a lot of pressure off your client. So yeah, a lot of stuff happens on the server. So if you can play dedicated, you will notice it. Why? Why is it not working? Now it's a matter of principle. Why is it not fucking working? It is returning the class name, and the class name is kind of uniform base. No, I don't think so. I think generally Ravage is better. I could do a dynamic spawner that as a spawn script wouldn't be so much of a problem. I might actually do it, but to be honest, I think the Ravage zombie is probably better. But I don't know. I mean, you could also work with headless clients, I believe. I'm not sure. I haven't played Zombies and Demons for a while, so creating a spawner would not be much of a problem. But I think especially when it comes to Ravage, I mean the Ravage spawner is already quite good, I think. So. I might add spawners so that people do not have to activate any Ravage or Zombies and Demons modules, so they can just activate the mod. and VA coordinates the spawning. That would be something. I like the I'm getting annoyed by my focus. I won't invest too much time because it's also very late. So I'm just actually wondering why it doesn't react. That's really confusing. It doesn't even see the This part here doesn't work. Cut uniforms. Why does this not work? See, this kind of spawn. If it's probably something silly. Oh. No. Cannot be it. That's here. Is kind of. I don't understand. It's clearly returning. Ah, screw it. I'll park it for now. I'm generally happy anyway that I got the crafting to work like that, so. Let's summarize. What bugs did we find today? The drinking one? The one where you eat something and open the inventory and then it removes the eatable, and there was one more. Yeah man, thank you for looking in, dropping into the stream. Really looking forward when I can let you guys play VA3 sometime. Yeah, I'll look into the bugs tomorrow. But yeah, so to summarize, a nearly 4-hour stream. This is the new crafting system. I didn't focus as much on it as I wanted to, but I guess it was also fun to just show around and talk about the mod and blah 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 blah. Chopping sound, exactly. So it was great to have you guys. It was fun. If you have questions, make sure to join Discord. People there are usually replying quite quickly and helpful and friendly. So see you in the next stream, and let's end it with yay! Bye guys.